Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to build a nice converting About Us page to accompany our About Us page article. We're going to be recreating Harry's About Us page here. This is Our Story page. Let's take a quick look at the page. It looks like at the top they've got a full section with a solid color background and a heading in the center. Next, they have a larger section with looks like two columns, an image filling the background, a header, and a paragraph. Here, an image on the right, a heading and paragraph on the left, and then this section is just a reversal of the one above it. And then finally, just a solid color section with a heading and a CTA button at the bottom, get started. So it's minimal, but really nice looking page. It has a decent copy on it. Tells a little bit about the founders and things like that. So it doesn't need to be complicated. That's the whole point. Just need to be transparent and enjoyable to look at. And of course, have that CTA at the bottom. So before we get started, I'm using Google Chrome right now. I have 3 extensions installed that'll help me recreate this with PageFly. I'm using the WhatFont extension, which will tell us not only the name of the font, but the color, line height, and size, which is super helpful when we're making sure that our site has the right dimensions and look to it. I also have ColorZilla. This I can click and it will automatically copy the color code for me. And finally, I have dimensions. This will tell me the number of pixels that I have in any direction. You can see the 4 lines, the kind of crosshair there. This is not always helpful because sometimes without text, it can't really identify very well, but it will definitely help in some spots, and I'll show you how to use that in a little bit. So for now, I've logged into my store. At my Shopify admin, I've clicked on Apps, PageFly Advanced Page Builder, and I'm going to click on the plus sign right here and create new regular page. Okay, go ahead and click there. Now it will always open up the template library, but for today we're just going to be building it from nothing to give you a demonstration of how to use the different features in PageFly. So I'm going to hit start from blank. So please, if you're following along, do the same exactly. Just start from blank. If you start from a template, it can start getting complicated, moving sections around and readjusting them and things like that. So let's start from blank here. So we're going to immediately start with the top section, which is the simplest. So we're just going to need to go on the left here, add element, and a layout element, and a full section. I'll just drag and drop that right into here. You always want to start with a full section because then you can add rows and columns and things into it, but the full section will be the largest piece. So for example, this whole color block is one full section. And all we're going to need, the only element we need in here is actually a heading. So I'll go back to add elements, heading, and there we are. Okay, just drag and drop it into the section. Now if I selected the heading, I can see what's inserted in this section now. We have a heading, column, a row, and the full section. We really only need to pay attention to the full section and the heading right now. So let's start by coloring the section. So I'll click here, make sure only section is selected at the bottom. Click on my ColorZilla. That copied that color to the clipboard. Let's go back. We have our section highlighted. I'm going to go to styling on the right and then find background. Okay, and I can just paste the color in there. Okay, quick and easy. That's it. Now we'll check the text as well. So if I go to what font and I click on here, okay, it's just a pure white text, 36.48 line height. Okay, so we'll go back, go to styling as well. Make sure I have my heading highlighted here. This was just pure white. Okay, of course we can select it here as well. Okay, there we go. We want to center that, of course, and it was what size? 36 and 48 line height. Cool. Now let's just copy the text and paste it in. Whoops. Go to general. Again, make sure only your heading is highlighted. General. There you are. I'm going to make that heading 1. Now you can see they have a little bit of padding or something that's existed here to make it into 3 lines. So I'm going to open my dimension tool. This is one way to use it. I'm going to go where I think the top of that heading is, so 81 pixel, 85, okay, and over here, 286. So let's just try 80, 80, 290. Let's try that first. Once you get used to playing around with this a little bit, it becomes a lot more easy to identify exactly how much padding you'll need. But for now, we'll just show you using the dimension tool. So let's go 80, 80, and it was 290, and 290. Okay, there we go. We've added padding. Oh, you know what? I should have added that to the full section instead of only the heading. Just going to redo that for you quickly, my mistake. So highlight the entire section and the exact same process. You can actually just go here, 80, 80, 290, 290. That just makes it easier in case you want to adjust only the heading later on. We can see we don't quite have exactly the layout they have because we don't have the same font as them. I believe the font here is something that was created for this site. So we're not going to pay too much attention to the actual font style, just the size and the color and things like that. That'll help us get, as I said, the most reasonable, the accurate representation that we can, but it won't be perfect. So for now, I'm just going to make that into 3 lines. Okay. Oh. And there we go. Looks reasonable. As I said, just going to use the default font. I'm not going to bother with that for now. You can play around with that when you're adding sections and adjusting your page by yourself later. But anyway, so now I'm going to start going a little more quickly now that you're familiar with a little bit of the layout. So we're going to enter another big section here into layout, full section. Here we are. As I mentioned, there are 2 columns. Whenever you see something on the right and something on the left, there's going to be 2 columns for you to use, and those are quite rigid. So you want to add those first. Absolutely. So here's what we have. We have 2 columns. We have the row that contains the 2 columns, and we have the section. So I'm going to start. I've already saved this image. I'll show you quickly how to do that if you have not. If you right-click and inspect this, you'll have to find, okay, here. Background image. Yeah, you'll find this URL. So you want to copy this URL. Okay. Oops. Make sure that this image is highlighted when you hold your cursor over there. Paste it in there. And you'll go immediately to the source of the image. You can just save that image as to your computer as any other image at that point. Okay, so I would advise doing that for each image on this About Us page before you get started. I've already saved them, so I'll just show you from now on. I won't show you how to save them again. You could just repeat that section of the video if you'd like. So over here, I'll highlight the section, styling, go to the background. This time I'm going to choose an image. I've saved this as Harry's Razor. Okay, I can open that. May take a minute to upload there. While that's doing that, I'm going to start. Yeah, okay, so it's in there. It's quite a large image, so we won't see it yet until we start putting something else in this section. So firstly, I'm going to see what color this font is. Okay, I'm going to highlight the color. Go over to our column. Whoops, so I'm going to add also a heading and a paragraph into that column. Okay, there we are. We can start to see some of the image pop out underneath. I'm going to highlight the heading, put in my color. I believe the paragraph is the same color, so it doesn't hurt to do both at the same time. Let's copy the actual text. We make products for all men thoughtfully. Okay. Here we are. And the paragraph, copy and paste. Oh, okay. So I've put that in the heading. My mistake. Make sure that's in the paragraph or it's going to be quite show up quite large as a heading. There we are. Okay. So now let's take a look at, I'm going to highlight the section again. Just make sure our image is positioned correctly. I'm going to go into position here. Oh, not position, I'm sorry. Size. I want to cover. Okay, so that's going to just make sure that the image fits exactly into the section. Now we're going to have to play a little bit with the padding of that section as well. Okay, so let's go to box styles. Let's see if we get any insight from our dimension tool here again. 220, 220. Let's try 200 and 200 and see how that works. 200, 200. That actually looks pretty good. Okay, so let's see. We can see 3 fingers. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So we'll stick it at 200 right now. As I've repeated a couple times already, there's going to be certain things that aren't scientifically accurate in this tutorial. Just trying to get the best, most accurate representation we can. Okay, as we can see, okay, so we need a narrower column for this text. I think we can get away with just moving this over. No, that didn't work. Let's try moving this column. Okay. That looks okay. It looks like I need a little bit of padding on this one. I'm going to select this column. Add maybe, we can also use percentages for adding padding, and that's actually a little bit easier to eyeball sometimes. So that actually looks pretty good. Oh, it looks more centered. Okay. Column, add a little bit more padding there, maybe even 30. Okay. And okay, let's take a look. Okay, that looks quite good. Like I said, when you're following along, you can play with this a little bit after. I'm going to try to get through just showing you how to use the box styles and the padding and things to adjust the text. And for now, of course, you should always change regularly or save regularly, my mistake. So Harry's clone, I've saved that for now. That'll make sure we don't lose what we've done now. We've built the first section with the heading, and we built the second section with the image, the heading, and the paragraph. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and add another layout section right at the bottom. As usual, 2 columns, as I said, because we can see there's an image on the right and text on the left. Okay, I've already saved the image. What we could do here, we have a heading and a paragraph. So I'm actually just going to duplicate both of those and place them into this column. Okay, so I can pull on this, press duplicate in the element toolbar. There, I can just grab it and come on. Okay, just a second. Let's scroll down a little bit. I'll grab this one, drag it into that column. Okay, so we've got that in there. I'll duplicate this paragraph as well. Paragraph, drag it below that into the column. Okay, I'm also going to want to put an image element into this column. Okay, so I'm going to choose the top one. There's no border or anything on Harry's site. As you can see, it just it touches the next section exactly. Okay, let's go as usual into styling. I'm going to find, where am I going here? Oh, I'm sorry, in general, because it's an image element. I'm going to go ahead and find it. Shaving cream. I've named it shaving cream because the 2 gentlemen in that image are wearing shaving cream. Give that a second to upload here. Okay, there we are. Now, we don't want any padding on the bottom. We want this to hug the edges as it does on that main page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the whole row. That's what holds the two columns within it. I'm going to go to General, and I'm going to reduce the gutter to 0. As you can see, that allows the row to just hug the image and the text box. Okay, then I'm going to highlight the section, the entire section here. Go down to Box Styles. Make sure there's 0 padding on the top and bottom. Okay, that allows our image to touch the top and bottom perfectly. And then finally, with the section still highlighted, I'm going to disable this. Okay, disable the max width. That'll allow it to just fill the entire section. Okay, so that's a pretty quick and easy way to do it. Now, of course, in our left column here, we're going to have to adjust where this where the text is. So it looks like it's pretty much centered vertically in that section. So a quick trick we can do for that, if we go to Styling, down here to Display, if I hit Flex, I'm going to go, let's see, Direction, Column. So that'll make sure it just goes top to bottom like a column. And then I want to justify the content to the center. There we go. Okay, so that prevents us having to mess around with any padding or anything like that. We're going to have to a little bit for the sides, but that makes sure that we're exactly justified in the center. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is let's highlight the column again. Let's go to padding. Now here's where you can use percentages because it's actually quite a bit easier. I'm going to say that's about 30% and about 10% on the right. Let's see how that looks. I have my column, 30% and 10%. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm actually just going to leave it like that. Now let's go quickly find our color. There we are, copy to the clipboard, highlight the whole section, go to background, and there's our color. Very good. Next for the text, it's just a pure white, size 28, 40 line height. Okay, pure white color, there we go. White, okay. Text here, 28 pixels, 40 pixels. Good, and I believe this was 16. 36. Okay, let's compare quickly. Oh, it looks a little bit closer together than that. Where am I here? Let's try 28. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay. Oh, and if you can see there's a little bit of a space between their heading and the paragraph here. To do that, you actually just add padding to the actual heading itself. The same as we did with the column. So if I want to just add, I don't know, 10 pixels to the bottom. Whoops. 10 pixels to the bottom, you can see that added a little bit of space. You can play around with that till you get almost exactly the representation of this. Like I said, as long as you know how to do it, you're free to explore the features. Okay, so there's another section. Now, we're on a roll here now. So what we see here is actually just a complete, basically mirror image, except a little bit of difference in color, but and a different image and different text, of course. But oh, and my mistake, I hadn't copied the exact text into the headings here. I'll do that quickly, just so you know exactly what to do. Good. Here. Okay, very nice. So that section's done. Now here's the best trick. Once you have similar sections, you can highlight this whole section and just hit this magic duplicate button, okay? Now we have two exact duplicate sections. I've got the bottom one highlighted, and I can go to styling, display, I'm going to go to flex, direction, row reverse. Okay, when I hit row reverse, it's going to switch them horizontally. Of course, when I say that, it doesn't work. I'm going to highlight the row, okay, not the section. So I've got my row. I'm in flex. I'm going to say direction, row reverse. There we are. Very nice. So just need to make sure that you have only the row, not the section highlight there. Okay. Let's quickly switch the image. General. Okay, I've got this saved as founders. Those Jeff and Andy are the founders. While that's uploading, I'll just go and grab our correct text. Go, Jeff and Andy. There we go. It does look on this page like it's a slightly different color here, but I've already shown you guys how to switch up that color. I'm going to move on to the bottom section with the button specifically. Okay, so down we go. Now, I've noticed at the bottom, this section is very similar to the section at the top. So what I'm going to do is just duplicate the section at the top, and then we can change the color and add the button in quickly at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this section at the top, duplicate. I'm just going to move it down. Okay, off we go. Okay, sometimes it's a little bit easier just to move one section on top of the other. There we go. Move this section on top. Section, move, there we go. And section, drag and drop. Okay, sorry about the the awkward movement there for a second, but that's the best way to move the duplicated section. Okay, so first let's figure out the color. ColorZilla looks like a slightly off-white. So styling, background, color, there we are. Next, our font. Okay, copy the color of the font there. Let's see what we've got. The color. Good. The size and the color, 28. Okay, change the size there, 28 and 40. Nice. Copy the actual text. Try us for yourself. Oh. And let's add that button in the bottom, okay? And then we're pretty much done. So at add element, go here to button. Theirs is a solid fill with no border. So we can just add that to the bottom here, bottom of the heading, okay? Highlight the full column and just center everything again. That'll center the button. Make sure you've highlighted the whole column, not just the button. Okay, let's change first the text on the button. Whoops. Come on, get started. Text for the button is changed the same as anything else. You just go general, change that. Okay, the color is here. Oh, no, I missed the orange there. Yeah, make sure that in the little icon there, you can see the correct color you want. Okay, let's change the color of the button. Styling, background, change color, very nice. Okay, it looks to be a bit wider than ours, so we're going to change the padding on this. Let's go maybe 25. You know what, that looks too small. 35, 35. Maybe let's go 15. 15. Okay, that looks pretty good. The last thing I noticed is the rounded corners. Highlight the button once again. And I want to come down to here, borders, okay? The radius will be each corner that automatically adjusts each. Let's try 5 pixels. Yeah, and that looks quite reasonable. Let's compare the size. It looks pretty good because I think it was the same size as the top section that we duplicated. So let's keep it at that. Let's see, 2 lines after everything. I'm going to cheat a little bit here by just spacing that. Okay, final check. Oh, I see I didn't change the color of this. Let's quickly do that. I think it's just a pure white. Good. Pure white. Okay, quick final check here. So the top section is a solid color with a heading. We have our image correctly lined up, and 2 columns. We only used 1 column. This column will not appear. Okay, an image on the right. Then we have, oh, you know what? Let's try moving this heading and paragraph over a little bit. I think we can just highlight the column and reverse that padding that we put before. So switch this to 10, switch this to 30. That looks better. Yeah, very nice. Okay. So now I'm going to save and publish, and we can quickly compare. As I said, it's not going to be absolutely laser accurate. After all, we used a slightly different font, and we did it quite quickly. But let's have a look. We should be pretty close at this point. Preview my live page. Oh, of course I have password. So I'm just going to go to preview, not the live page, because I'll have to use a password to enter my store for now. Okay, let's see. So I have my header, which is of course going to be different than theirs at the top, but we have the solid colored section with the heading in the center with the right copy. We have this section with the razor. Okay, as I said, the alignment's a little bit off, but you have to play with the padding and things to make it precise. I did show you in this tutorial the tools to be able to do so, but in the spirit of wrapping this up shortly so you can try for yourself, let's keep moving on. Now we have the next section with these 2 gentlemen. Okay, there we are, looks okay. The reverse row here that we did with the founders. Okay, meet Jeff and Andy, there we are. And finally, okay, it looks like our button has an action. When you hover it, it changes color. I'm going to quickly show you how to change that just so we can get as close as possible to what we see here. But the sections look good, aside from some minor alignment things that you can certainly play with by yourself. Let me just show you quickly how to change the action behind that button. Okay, let's see. Where are we here? Advanced. Animation, hide on. Styling, general. Mouse over. Okay, let's see. Mouse over. Hover. We don't want anything. You know what, guys? I believe you can. I'm not going to try to switch that right now. I believe you can find on the PageFly website a tutorial on how to do that, and perhaps we'll include it in another video. But for now, I'm going to stop it there, just because we have been running a little bit too long. But hopefully, you learned exactly how to pick up colors and recreate, not clone exactly, but try to recreate a decent page for yourself. How to insert columns into sections, how to add padding and adjust the alignment, things like that, how to reverse. So let us know how it goes if you try to do that yourself, if you followed along precisely with this tutorial, if you tried one of your own. We always love to hear about it. So I'll sign off for now. If you guys have any questions, please read our article and comment on that as well. And thanks for watching. Okay, take care. Good luck.